The weekend is now upon us, and today I wanted to talk about some interesting information that confirms some previously held suspicion, data mined leaks, and plenty of things in between in relation to the upcoming content seasons in Modern Warfare. Not just the upcoming one, but the entire year. It's interesting to see the roadmap basically being set for the entire year and the basic framework of what's to come. So today, I want to let you know what's new and what you may have missed from previously leaked content, which correlates with this and that seemingly confirms the basis of it. So that said, let me know your thoughts below. Apart from the bugs and of course natural issues in the game that you may have, like skill-based matchmaking, balancing, and common complaints, which are totally valid, how are you enjoying Season 1 so far? What's your experience with the offerings? Are you enjoying the near 2-week interval of updates with content coming each time? Maybe not so much, and what do you hope to see in the future? As well, if you are new to the channel, maybe considering the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare for the latest on a daily basis. But anyways, before we launch into it, really a quick heads up: if you're going to be playing Modern Warfare at all this weekend, there's currently double weapon XP activated from now until Monday the 6th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you've got any weapons that you're currently dreading using a ton to get camo challenges unlocked, like launchers or melees or anything like that, or if it's something that you just want to rank up some weapons you are looking forward to using, now's the best time to do so. It's a great weekend to boost those numbers up. I'll personally see you out there. I'm going to be taking advantage of this and trying to rank up some of my weapons. I'm going for gold and of course platinum after that, and then Damascus. But jump in, take a part of it, and do with it what you will until Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But anyways, the seasons for Modern Warfare, let's get into the meat and the potatoes. It's not strange to see that Call of Duty has accidentally published information before they're supposed to. Sometimes it is genuinely an accident, sometimes it's on purpose, disguised as improper timing. And today's report and recent update to one of their websites and a landing page on their site, that though I'm not entirely sure if it was accidental in air quotes, but the information came out no difference. If you were to head over to callofduty.com/modernwarfare/PS4, you'd be taken to the exclusive page for the Sony PlayStation Advantage, branded with a ton of info about the partnership between Call of Duty and Modern Warfare and PlayStation and Sony, and a big headlined "The Best Place to Play" front and center. Now, this was a big thing around launch. I truthfully don't know how much it's still at the forefront of discussion, or if it's not, if it's actually completely subsided. I truthfully just haven't paid enough attention to that specific area of conversation, but the Sony PlayStation Advantage is simply that of PlayStation 4 users getting access to Spec Ops Survival for an entire year, which does suck when you think about the duration of it, but Survival's the reincarnation of the classic wave-based mode from Modern Warfare 3. In exchange for this though, players across all platforms, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, now get all of the DLC at the exact same time and for absolutely no charge of free. So truthfully, that value really comes down to if it's really okay of a trade-off in your own view. I can't tell you if it was the right move, I can't tell you if it was fair, that's all up to you, it's subjective. If you're looking for my own personal opinion on it though, I'll tell you that I don't even have Survival installed and haven't since the game launched, so do with that what you will. But why is this new landing page significant? Well, because it was recently updated to showcase some more information about the current and future offerings for Spec Ops Survival. Detailed are currently the maps available in which you can play Survival on, a not so hefty total of 4 maps of Grozny Raid, Piccadilly, Ania Palace, and St. Petrograd. But what's new and what's pertaining to the future is that there's now redacted and static filled boxes to represent future offerings, things still to come in maybe the not so distant future and then also the distant future. As listed with some of the website's text, it's also letting us know when to expect said updates and when each new map addition to Survival will be added, stating PlayStation 4 players can jump into Special Ops Survival, an exclusive wave-based horde mode, and each Modern Warfare season will bring a new location to Survival, as well as a special challenge mission and reward for other game modes. Acquire the unique rewards by completing gameplay objective across modes. Each season, a new weapon or skin is up for grabs. Now, a lot of that pertained to the mission challenges and other things that we do know that are out there, and actually, I guess when you consider there are 1 or 2 mission challenges that are PlayStation 4 exclusive, so add that on to what maybe the Sony Advantage, if you will call it that, and what they brand it as. But the new portion of this is that we see that a new map will be added each season, and with 5 redacted maps or missions for Survival on this landing page, it would seem to indicate that the total number of seasons we can expect to see for the duration of the game's life cycle is 5, does it not? 5 on top of Season 1, which we're in now, and then pre-Season 1 or Season 0, which was the last season. and fitting everything that we know so far about our current trajectory for Modern Warfare's duration of seasons, that seems to be on par. 5 seasons, roughly around 2 months long, give or take a couple of weeks, each bringing us to the middle of November or to early December as of later this year, considering that we still have a month left to go on this first season, that is. So now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and start to think that the proverbial Black Ops 5, which will be coming out later this year, will be released that late. But it fits the former marketing strategies that we've seen so far, that new content will launch shortly before the launch of another title for one final hurrah for the title leaving that primary year, i.e. as of later this year, September, October, that being Modern Warfare, but also it will give players who choose to stick around on said title more content to play with even as a new game launches. So by all quick indications, this does match up. Now, believe it or not, this matches up actually way more than you'd maybe anticipate if you haven't heard about the leaked and data mined content from beforehand. Like we mentioned, logically, that all fits into the basic framework of the puzzle, but we already have some of the pieces that would go in the middle and make up the larger image, not just those corner pieces and edge work that let us know the boundaries of the content coming up. Up until this point, we've seen before release and shortly after release multiple instances of content data mined that included several seasonal names, officer rank icons, and more that, again, doesn't necessarily break ground on any larger revelation about the upcoming season, but instead reiterates the notion of the possibility of 5 more coming throughout the rest of the year. The first of these items discussed came in the way of the seasonal names, which were actually data mined from the beta build of Modern Warfare. It does date back that far. Now, it's no surprise if you follow the leaks over the years that beta builds, while only being a taste of what's to come with the full offering, often cannot escape some of the tethered information on the back end. Again, whether intentional or unintentional is all up for interpretation, but out of the beta build for Modern Warfare, we learned of the names of 5 seasons at that time: Broken Arrow, Cyber Attack, Bio Warfare, Homegrown Terrorism, and Climate War. Now, these all, we've of course speculated, may have had their own separate themes to them, where perhaps Cyber Attack is a sort of black hat hacker type of deal, Climate War may be something more of ghillie suits and pertaining to special areas of focus in climates, such as a snow theme, maybe a desert theme, or maybe a woodland themed. Then we also discussed maybe things like Homegrown Terrorism would be more so inconspicuous, so your operators would have hoodies and backpacks just blending in with everyday people, a theme like that. But that was the first hurdle that I came across at this point, is the date at which it was leaked. We shortly discussed this in particular, this leak 2 weeks before the launch of the game. So at that point, almost 3 months ago, which from the beta build, which was finalized even further out than that, the build was not complete to where we are today. If you were to compare directly the build today and the beta build, assets aren't the same. There's much more of those in the current build, assets that are hidden and tethered to future content. There's much more of that as well. So the project is just a lot more complete at this point comparative to where it was. So I said it then and I still believe it now, those 5 seasons which we discussed wasn't all that we'd end up seeing, and that's kind of evidence now. There also isn't anything really that points towards Season 0 or Season 1, which we're currently in, that is named any of those, unless they just completely removed seasonal names and are instead going with Season 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So in theory, it could be that those are upcoming seasons to finish out the year, or perhaps the names have been dropped and we're already through 2 of those 5 listed, which leaves room for the introduction of 2 more, the expansion that we could naturally expect over time on the back end of builds. What's also curious is that shortly after that, around the launch of the game, and I actually think it was the launch build if I'm not mistaken, had the first 6 seasons officer ranks icons leaked, though that included both Season 0 and the current Season 1, so leaving us with 4 more seasons in the future to consider, 1 more than that of the beta accounted for. All of these look really cool, and unfortunately I can't feature them in video because they're still intellectual property of Activision and Call of Duty, as with all the other leaks we discussed here on the channel, but it laid the basic framework of another one that we hadn't seen up until that point. So when we consider the fact that there's 1 more on the way, it fits the bigger picture that's being painted. It's not entirely out of the realms of possibilities that we do have 5 more seasons coming up for Modern Warfare. So while we have information that we've discussed beforehand, such as a plethora of maps that we could see return and that are already in the game files, we've already seen a handful of operators, we've already seen a handful of Spec Ops missions and operations, and along with that, a larger world in which it's filling out, later likely becoming the Battle Royale portion of the game, which we'll discuss here on the channel shortly. We know the specifics, but and now we have a larger understanding of the positioning, the release, and the picture at large. So will we likely see updates every 2 weeks to continue adding in even more content to the game? Well, personally, it sure looks like that to me, with this week being the kind of odd man out because of the holiday season and the fact the studio employees go home and visit their families, as they definitely should, especially for the holidays. But the entire year seems to be coming into focus now and what we can expect for what's still to come. So that said, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. That's where this new landing page looks to take us in terms of information that we can expect to come out in the relatively near future and the framework for the entirety of the content year, not just season, for Modern Warfare. So that said, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys looking forward to any of this? Did you kind of figure this was going to be the case? What do you think? Anything in between, feel free to let me know your thoughts, but hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare on a daily basis. Updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.